Hello, Facebook Live. Oh my goodness, it has been a hot minute since I have come on here and done anything live. I'm actually nervous. I haven't done anything like live in a while, but we're good. We're here. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to get over my awkwardness. I might have to look at a lot of my notes, but it's all good. We're here. So I'm really excited to share this live with you because what I'm going to share with you is beyond just having more sexy time with your partner, having more physical intimacy with your partner. Because a lot of the women that I work with, and even myself included, before I knew all of this, I thought that just doing it more sex, would solve the problem. Like, just doing it more, just trying to find different modalities, get creative and things like that. That would bring my libido back. That would make him more satisfied. That would make me more satisfied. And really, that's not what I found. What I found was that it was really more about the relationship that I was having with myself and my own body, and my relationship and the emotional intimacy with my partner, with my man. And the things that I really deeply wanted was to want to feel like I was wanting to have him in between my legs, right? I wanted to feel like that desire that I once used to have in my early 20s was back, especially with the man that was the one, that man that is my breath of fresh air, that is my anchor, that brings me to tears every single time that I think about him. And when I share about what a wonderful man that he is, like, why aren't I turned on like I used to be? What's wrong with me, right? Why can't I give him what I used to give to men who did not deserve any of that, right? So there was a lot of shame. There was a lot of resentment of like giving my body to a man that I absolutely love, that is a safe partner, but not really wanting to, resenting the fact that their men have a sexual energy, that they can just see you naked and that's it. Boom. They want to go, So resentful of that, resentful of saying yes when I really wanted to say no, from lots of programming, from also previous experiences where I didn't feel that it was okay to say no. I didn't feel it was okay to honor me. And beyond just that, what I really wanted was, I really desired to feel like a goddess in the bedroom, to have my sexual power back. But beyond that, I wanted to feel adored and courted by my man. I wanted romance. I wanted flowers. I wanted to be taken out on dates regularly. And I didn't want to feel like I had to force my partner to take me out, right? I wanted long, hot makeout sessions like we were teenagers, right? Like the first time that me and him ever kissed, it was in the parking lot, like we're teenagers and we're in our mid-30s, or I was in my early 30s, he was in his mid-30s, just making out. I wanted that feeling that you get when you first start to fall in love, right? The dating, the flowers, the chasing feeling where they're really going after you, they really desire you, and you can feel that, the gifts, the emotional intimacy that when you start to open up your hearts to each other for the first time, when you're falling in love, right? When you're sharing your life and you're sharing past stories and you're feeling safe with your partner, you're like, oh my God, wow, and your heart is opening up. That's what I really wanted too. It was beyond just having more sex. It was beyond that. The lack of sex was the symptom, but that wasn't the root problem. And today in this live, I'm going to share with you what that root problem is. So, hello and welcome. So I have a lot of intimate things that I'm going to be sharing on here. And as I open up this live, I'm like, should I even be doing this on Facebook Live? So I might take this down afterwards and upload it on YouTube in a private list so that this is a more intimate setting, but we're here, so this is what it is. So hello and welcome to my Facebook Live. My name is Jessica Lozano and I'm a women's empowerment and relationship coach, and I help self-motivated women have incredible relationships with the one, which is having better sex, having deep connection with their partner, feeling like they have a man next to them in the bedroom, right? And really living this, being a woman who's so juicy in her feminine, but also so unshakable in her life and living the life of her dreams. So thank you for being here. And if you really find this Facebook Live to be helpful, you found lots of interesting nuggets of wisdom here, please share this live. I would greatly appreciate that support and appreciate you wanting to share the magic with other women in your lives. And if you do share this, I will just let me know, tag me that you shared, or let me know where you shared it, and you can get 20% off of any of my programs as a thank you for, you know, supporting me and just spreading the messages that I have to share. Okay, so let's get into talking sex. So the way that I like to do my transmissions is that it really is a transmission. So I will go into stories, and the reason why I share my stories is so that you can resonate at some level with yourself and what's happening in your life, and the things and the stories in your life, how they resonate with mine. And stories are such a powerful way to see how you can change, how you can transform. There's something that just lands when people tell you stories. So I will start off with that. I will share kind of where I got to when it came to my sexuality, when it came to my libido, and the things that I did to come out to the other side where it just feels good. Like I want to have it. And even if it's not this wild, crazy, like BDSM thing, right? Which cool if you're into that. Some of you are probably even way more wilder than me, but it's not about that. It's about the desire and the feeling of like when your man touches you, you're not resisting it. You allow it, you receive it, and it doesn't matter how the interactions happen, like you're enjoying the entire process versus waiting for him to finish. Because I know I've been there, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you've been there too. It's like, Ken, hurry up, I got things to do. Hurry up, I need to get back to sleep. Hurry up, I need to go get my coffee. I need to start my day. Hurry up, I'm like, this is boring me, right? So I don't want you to experience that. That's not how you should be experiencing sex with the man of your dreams, with the partner that you've decided to live the rest of your life with. It really should not be like that. But we have been programmed to think that if you just give your man sex, you know, men are horny bastards, just open your legs, just hurry up, and they'll be fine. Like, how disrespectful is that for your body? It's not the way that we're meant to live and be in our romantic relationships ever. Ever, ever, ever. Right? So let me take you back to give you a short summary of my life. So, and maybe you relate to this as well. So starting off in my teenage years when I discovered, you know, my sexuality and things like that, I started to lead with that energy because I've noticed, I was like, well, I get attention from men because of my body. You know, I had this naturally oozing sexual energy. Like it's just, I think, part of my makeup, part of the energy that I came to in this world. And I use it in a shadow way, right? I had these promiscuous years. And that is just what I led my energy with because of father wounds, where I wanted to feel worthy of a man and of love, and using my body was the way to that. So already starting off at a very young age, I'm having a really unhealthy sexual relationship with my body. Let me know if you resonate with that. And with that, leading my romantic relationships in that way, it ended up, I landed my relationship with my ex-fiance who was a narcissist, and that was the leading energy that I did everything within the relationship. Anything that went wrong in the relationship, let's cover it up with sex. We're bored, let's cover that up with sex. We're fighting, let's cover that up with sex, right? So I use this energy as a way to numb different things that were happening in my relationship. So again, abusing this energy of mine because it was the only way that I knew that things could get better. So eventually when I said, I'm really done with how my relationship is going around year 4. So of that 6-year span being in that relationship, the last 2 years, I really started to reclaim my power. And within the last year, I remember slowly but surely, especially the last few months right before we had that final breakup and that's it, we're done. I am done. I really started to pull back with that energy a lot because I no longer wanted to lead with this energy, and I no longer wanted, honestly, to be the one to always initiate too, right? I was like, that didn't feel exciting. So within that relationship, and what happened is that I vowed to myself that I wasn't going to allow sex to be the leading energy. And it wasn't a vow that I said out loud. It was a vow that I said within. It was and I didn't even consciously think it in that sentence. It was this feeling that came over me that said, I will never again lead a relationship with that. And in that moment, something shifted in me. I really feel that from that moment, something shifted in me where I really pushed down this part of myself because I was scared of this energy because of the pain that it had brought me into my life, the heartache that it brought into my life, the drama that it brought into my life. And I never, ever, ever wanted a man to be with me because of this energy, because of sex. I didn't want that. So me and my narcissistic ex-fiance, we broke up. 3 months later, boom, the love of my life drops in. Ron, we're having so much fun. We're having such a great time. Things are going amazing. The relationship is great. We're doing long distance the first year. So every time we're seeing each other, it is 20 times having sex, right? That's just how it is anyways in the first year of any relationship, maybe the first couple years, but even more so with us because we were having so much time apart. So this energy that I was feeling, this sexual suppression, really wasn't forward. You really couldn't notice it. It was because of the newness of the relationship and because of the distance and the desire to always want to be together, right? Intimately. So, but there is one thing that I do remember. Did not want to put any effort into anything. I was just like, bah, I'm going to be like a sack of potato, right? I said I wasn't going to lead with this energy, so I'm not. All right. Okay. Things are going. Fast forward, as time was going by, the complaints start coming in that there's not being a receiving as much as that he is giving, right? He's feeling the dissonance. I'm feeling the dissonance too, hoping that he wouldn't say anything. But of course, it's something that you feel in the relationship. So I tried to do more things. I did try to be a little bit more open. It did help, just a very little bit, but it did help. But yet again, still wasn't that, I want to. So 2020, things really, between 2020 and 2022, that's when I could really start to feel the disconnection in this relationship. I could really start to feel where I wasn't feeling his presence, the dating and the courting and the romance really was not starting to happen. We hit this plateau in our relationship, this staleness in the relationship. I could feel it. And even more so, the idea of sex at this time definitely felt like a chore. Definitely felt like something I need to check off the list. Did I do this? Did I do this with my man this week? Okay, boom. Did I open my legs? Okay, yes, check. Versus oh my God, I just had reminiscing on the weekend, right? Or just naturally having this effortless flow of intimacy that happens like when you are in the beginning of a relationship, where it's just like things, it just happens. You don't have to put it on your calendar, right? So during this time, during this 2 years between 2020 and 2022, I really noticed the sexual polarity of our relationship start to crumble, meaning the masculine and feminine dynamics really started to switch, where I became more of a forward energy role and he became more of a passive role, right? So the relationship was starting to feel off. We were great. We were emotionally good. We were like, of course, in love and all of those things, but that romance and that thrill, where was it? It was gone, right? Hence, the sex is going to be gone along with that. At the time, I didn't know any of this, right? So sex was vanilla, wasn't exciting, all of the things. Then in April of 2022, things drastically shifted. It was the the eclipse. There was an eclipse portal that was happening, and we had the most amazing transcendental sexual experience ever. Ever. Nothing has topped that yet. I know something well. And it just kept getting better. It just kept getting better. And I'm going to share with you right now what we did what I did. Okay, you, the woman, can do in order to bring back your sexuality, awaken your libido, and want to have sex. Want to have him in between your legs. Want to touch you. Receive text messages that says, "Hey babe, dinner at Friday at 6:45 p.m. Be ready." Where you ask him, "Hey babe, can you get me some roses? I really want like some roses. I'm also doing this thing that I really want to have roses with." And he doesn't come home with one bouquet of roses. He comes home with 6. Where you feel the protection of your man and the providership, where you're like, "Oh, my feminine feels so good and feels so safe that I can open up to him." All right, these are the things that make you want to have sex. And you know who is that leading energy? You. You, my love, are that leading energy when it comes to this. Women, we are the heart of the relationship, which means you are the leading emotional and energetics of the relationship. The masculine is the outwardly leadership. And I know that can be a little bit confusing for if you're learning about sexual polarity and that the masculine leads. Yes, you also lead in your own unique, divine, beautiful, feminine way as well. And that was the first step that I took when it came to this. In January of 2021, when I noticed that things were off, like really off, I was like, this isn't going to happen. Or was it 2022? I think it was January 2022. I realized I was awakened, aware of the dissonance. I was like, I'm not for this. I'm not available to have a regular, original, ordinary relationship. I want something more. I want extraordinary love. I want incredible love. I want to be on this upward spiral of love that I felt for so many years. And now it's just like, where is it? So the first step was that I had to take personal responsibility and say, enough was enough. And I'm going to make a change. So funny enough though, ladies, the thing that called me into my feminine energy, and this is the number one piece. This whole thing has to do with your feminine energy. Like 80% of it, 90% maybe. was that at the time when I had this moment in 2020 when I was like brought down to my knees, it wasn't about my relationship. It was about business and money and success. But this is what led me to everything that I'm sharing with you today. So there will be moments in your life where the biggest pain that's happening is a gateway to other things that are equally suffering because of this energy that it's leaking, like this energy in my business, the way that I was approaching money, the way that I was making money, the way all the things with money and business was an equal energy of suffering that was connected to my relationship. I was in such forced masculine energy that I was in no place available for pleasure. Okay? Your sexual energy, softness, and your libido and sexual energy cannot thrive in survival mode, which I was in survival mode without actually ever really needing to be in survival mode. But that drop to my knees moment was when I had to find another way. And that's when the feminine energy was introduced to me. And that's when my feminine started to come on board, started to awaken, right? Even more so because coming out of this narcissistic relationship, there was a feminine aspect of myself that I really had to embrace, which was compassion, self-love, and forgiveness, which is the mother energy. But at the same time, I was being programmed to be a good girl from my ex-partner, leading with my shadow sexual energy, which eventually I shut that down. So my dark feminine became suppressed, and this light energy light feminine energy wasn't embodied with the dark feminine, which is where I came into this overcompensated pushing energy as well, specifically in my business. So no longer was it an outside person forcing me to do things that I didn't want to do. Right? I was in the complete opposite of that relationship, but it was myself that was forcing me to do things. It was myself that was treating myself with money, my relationship with money in my business. I was being the same asshole that my ex was being. Pushing, you're not enough, you're not enough, you're not enough, go harder, you're not enough, you're not enough, go harder. Softness and libido do not thrive in that energy. So where are you forcing your life? Where do you feel that you are in survival mode? And where do you need to soften? Where do you need to trust more? And these are the things that we're going to talk about in Feminine Magic Mastermind, which I have a few offerings to talk to you about at the very end of this transmission if this is really deeply landing with you. So that was the number one thing that started to happen. I had to start shifting myself into this feminine energy because I wasn't going to get what I wanted in my masculine energy because I was also approaching my relationship in that masculine form. Definitely not intense as I was in my business, but still the way I spoke to my partner, the way I demanded things, the way I criticized, the way I tried to control things. Forward, pushing, force. All wounded masculine things. Like, where is the feminine in that? Where does your man want to do things for you if you're treating them like that? Where do you get to soften and to be in your pleasure and to feel aroused if you're like this all the time? So you need to soften. You need to get into this feminine place. And where can you let go of survival mode? Where are you being coded to be in survival mode when you really don't need to be in survival mode? Because I didn't really actually need to be in survival mode, but I was in this perception that I had to be. It's a really weird thing. I'll get into more of that in Feminine Magic. and into more upcoming programs that I have in the future. I'm really, really excited about this one, Money, My Beloved, which is going to come out towards the end of this year, which we're going to get more into this code here of the survival mode with money and all of those things. So when this feminine thing, right? So after this feminine energy was becoming aware, once I started diving into everything about the feminine, everything about practices, I realized that there was two things the two main factors, and I'm going to break these down into a few points within each of them, where not being in my feminine was creating a crumbling of sexual polarity. So you need the sexual polarity in order to feel awakened in your relationship and want to have sex. So that was the thing that I realized that was not happening in my relationship. And the sexual sovereignty, which is connecting to the missing pieces of my sexuality. And this is the first thing that the first big block, and then we're gonna go into some sub messages about that. So it's going to sound a little contradictory, but the reason you don't want to have sex is not because of him. It's because of you. Okay? Reason you don't want to have sex is not because of him. It's because of you. And I'm not doing that in a judgmental way. It's more about what is your relationship to your body, to your sexuality, to your sexual anatomy. Your breast, your womb, your yoni, your clitoris, like your cervix, all these, your ovaries, all these different pieces of your body that make you a woman, that probably for most of your life have been overly sexualized by the opposite sex, and most likely from a very young age. Which is what I realized. From a very young age, I felt my body was not my body. It was for everyone else's pleasure but mine. That's what it felt like. And what led me to lead in that shadow sexual energy that I was talking about in the beginning. And when I was coming to this place now where I'm really desiring to have more in my relationship, more physical intimacy, but how can I have more physical intimacy if I don't have the intimacy with myself? And this actually required me to create a gap between him and I. 6. There it is. Where's the page? I lost the page. I need my notes today. There's a lot I'm talking about. Let me just read here. Hello, we're so aligned again. I was just doing the same awareness before I messaged you and I saw your live. Of course, me and you are always right in here, 𝗵𝗵𝗧. We're always so aligned. So I really had to create a gap between Ron and I when it came to physical intimacy, which I know is kind of like the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish and what we're talking about here. But if for your life, if you resonate with this, if you resonate with the fact that your body was not your body and it felt like it was everybody else's, and you led with this energy in a shadow way versus the really sovereign, divine, enchantress energy, if you use it more in a shadow aspect to feel worthy, to feel powerful, to feel loved, to manipulate, then your body has been not really your body for you, and your sexuality has not been for you, it has been for someone else, and there needs to be space between you and your partner momentarily in order for you to feel like I have sovereignty over this. Even though this man is the love of your life, or is the one, is the person that you chose to be with for the rest of your life, if this is happening, there needs to be a gap. because this gap is what's going to allow you to connect with your body first intimately, probably for the first time ever, and connect with the innocence of you and of your sexuality, which is huge when it comes to feeling wanted by your partner, when it comes to just feeling whole as a woman. Forget about the partner piece, just feeling whole as you as a woman and healing these parts of you that have been mistreated for different reasons. So some of the things that I had to do was have this conversation with my man and be like, hey, I'm going through this. I know we really are working on this area in our relationship, but this is what I really need. And because I have actively been working on myself this entire time and changing the dynamics in our relationship little by me stepping deeper into my feminine, really clearing a lot of energy and just really healing, really embodying this and letting go of this really armored shell around me, he was the one that said, you know what? I was just feeling the same way. Isn't that wild? Like, that blew my mind. As a matter of fact, when he said that to me, I was like, what? Really? I was like, okay. He's like, you just have the better words of saying things, but yes, exactly the way I feel. And I was like, wow, how wild is that? Which showed me that women, we are the emotional and energetic leaders of the relationship. As you start to shift your relationship with yourself, your relationship with life, your relationship with God, your relationship with your body, your relationship with money, your relationship into the masculine, things will start to shift. He will start to shift. So when it comes to this, it was really about saying no. I really told him, like, there are going to be times where I'm going to say no. And I don't want you to take it personally. It's really about me owning this sovereignty over my body. So what that is doing for you is it's probably allowing you for the first time to say no and to feel safe about saying no. Right? Like, being okay with the fact that you can say no. That is a huge thing, especially for women who are people pleasers, women who tend to bend over backwards, who want to feel good enough for everyone else and saying yes and like yesers. Like, for you to say no, not today, from a place of personal power and from the place of this is what feels of intuitiveness of like, no, I really just don't want to today. And for your partner to respond like, okay, honey, do you want to cuddle? Do you want to watch TV? What do you want to do? Do you need alone time? It is so healing for you as a woman. And for your inner child also, who probably was, every time you said no to a authority figure or to father or to a masculine, they betrayed that no. They disrespected that no. This is big. And so you also honor your body because of that. So you're no longer betraying yourself. You're being very true, right? And this no is coming from this wholeness. It's coming from this intuitive oracle, like, I don't want to. There's power in that. And number 3, you can start requesting what it is that you actually desire to your partner. So you can start asking to receive, which means maybe you are interested in it, but you don't want to do it the way that he's trying to activate you into it, right? So this is where you start to train your partner to love you and romance you the way that you want to, from a place of softness, from a place of openness, not from a place of demand and criticism. It changes everything. So which leads me to the next point. One of the reasons why you probably don't want to have sex with your man is because they're not romancing you. We are so different than men, and that is a beautiful thing. We can definitely honor the fact that our men can get aroused very quick, because that is the masculine energy of like taking quick action, making decisions, right? Like, you want them to be like that. It's a beautiful thing for them to be like that. Number one, for you, it can make you feel really hot and sexy in your body that you can just like take your shirt off and are like, whoa, you know, or just walk around in the house and make you feel good. But beyond that, when it comes to you, it helps the men actually drop down and to be connected with you. This is a huge service to men, for you to honor how you like to be turned on. And there is nothing for you to feel guilty about. I used to feel a lot of shame and a lot of guilt because I wanted to be seduced. I wanted to be courted. I wanted to have flowers. I wanted to feel adored and cherished, not feel like I'm someone's sex toy. And that is nothing to feel guilty about. That is part of what makes you a woman, because we are in this like deliciousness of life, this warming up energy, this anticipation energy. So we bring men to be able to court, to take leadership, to honor women, and to honor the softness, and to honor the arousal aspect of it, not just like a quick friction, boom, orgasm. Like, no, right? If not, it would be a means to an end every single time. And that's not what we want as women. We don't want to be a means to an end, right? So it's not humbling, isn't the right word for them. I want to say it connects them more to their heart and to you, to really be there with you. So this being able to also with honoring your nose, it really holds your man accountable to give you what it is that you want, to cherish you in the way that you want, to warm you up in the way that you want, to be aroused in the way that you want. You have to hold him accountable. And this is where that sacred nose come in with your sexual sovereignty. If he doesn't warm you up the way you want to and you say yes, you are betraying your body and you're betraying your word of what you asked for him, and you're not helping your man at all. It's like a triple whammy. So this no piece is super powerful. It's beyond just having to say no. It's all the things that happen, all the energetic dynamics of that happen behind the scenes and that cause your man to rise into his king energy is what you're doing. You're not treating him like an incapable young child. You're treating him like the man that you know he can be by honoring yourself. Okay, so, and this is what we're really going to go into as well in Feminine Magic, really more learning how to communicate your desires and requesting your desires and standing in your power, but also being in the softness of you that makes you feminine, so that you can get that king energy from him and be really worshipped and adored and get all the things that you want and be heard and be validated. And also in the other delicious bundles too. So stay around for that if you want. Okay, so the final block that we're going to get into is when we're talking about sexual polarity. And sexual polarity is about the friction and the dance between the masculine and the feminine that create the thrill and the romance in a relationship. I'm talking beyond emotional intimacy, which is best friend energy. And you want to have best friend energy in your relationships because that is what creates the safety. It's like that anchor that creates a security in your relationship. And you also want the romance and the thrill. So that is what the sexual polarity does in this. So one of the biggest things, again, and I keep stressing this because it really is such a big piece when it comes to changing the dynamics and really getting what you want out of your partner so that you can feel turned on and you can be in your pleasure, is how are you communicating with him? Are you treating him like an incapable child? well, guess what? They're going to act like an incapable child. Now, I know there's a lot that can go into this. There's a lot that says, well, but I have X, Y, Z. This is why he's like that. Like, okay, it's not going to be something that starts to shift overnight where one day he's an incapable teenager and then all of a sudden he's a king. It does take time, which this is why it requires your softness, why it requires you to step into your maiden energy, like that divine maiden energy of trust, devotion, and surrender. All about what we're going to talk about in feminine magic, so that you are able to move along at the pace that is destined between you two, for him to come up to the position that you want him to, that you need him to, that you crave for him to be in. But that is only going to come when you are in that maiden trust, devotion, surrender energy. When the masculine feels like appreciated, he's gonna want to give to you. He is gonna want to do the things that you are asking of him. If you're criticizing, demanding, he doesn't want to give to you. When somebody criticized and demand you, did you ever want to give to them? And this is something that happens every single day. So it's something that needs to be practiced every single day. But this actually goes on beyond just the reason why you're communicating. It actually goes to the point of wanting to be in control of the relationship and wanting to create a barrier in the relationship, like an unconscious barrier, so that you actually don't step into that trust, into that surrender, and be obliterated by his love. There is a small wall, or maybe a really thick wall, depending on where you are in your relationship with the masculine, because this keeps you safe. This keeps him away. And you know that in a subconscious way, in an unconscious way, whatever. Which leads, that's the next piece here, that trust and receptivity. When it comes to sexual polarity, the area where we really can bring out more of the leadership, more of that penetrating, that erection that he has for life, that desire to want to do things for you, comes with your ability to trust him, and to lean back and to receive. And not doing so much. When I allowed myself to open up my heart, to really go past those fears of like, what happens if I fall deeper in love with him, which meant for me in this moment, I connected that with sex. If I open up more to him, will I be safe? Will my heart be safe? Can I trust him? Can I trust myself that I could handle more love? Because the flip side of that is the equal amount of heartache that could happen from not necessarily him doing anything wrong, but the longevity of relationships. Eventually one of us is going to die. Things like that, that our mind goes to in fears and says, can I trust myself? Can I trust life? Can I trust him to fall deeper in love? And this is the way that I'm holding back through my body, through controlling, through being demanding and criticizing, so that I can keep him away, and I can kind of keep him in this area that I kind of like it, because at least I know what I'm going to get and I don't have to release control and surrender. And because that really freaks me out, because that requires trust, and that actually requires a different level of love that I probably have never had in my life. Or the last time I had this level of love and surrender, something really bad happened. So this piece here is the piece that actually takes the time, that actually takes the patience, which is your feminine, which is your feminine magic, which is the faith in you, in him, and in your relationship. So, and that will activate him to step deeper into his masculine core, because one of men's things, one of their codes that they have is to protect, is to serve. How can they protect you if you're not softening so that they can protect you? So they can want to give to you. So you have to soften. You have to soften those outer edges, which is really like the first archetype with that is the maiden. Because that she is the one that's connected to the outer energies of your sexual anatomy, which we'll talk about in feminine magic. So I really gave you a lot of good things here to think about, to feel about, to sit with, to digest, to reflect, to start becoming aware of how you are in the dynamics with men. So this is equally, not only if you're just in a relationship, but if you're single and you're looking for you're wanting potential suitors and you're wanting to fall in love with the love of your life, all of these are still going to are playing an active role in being available to receive that for yourself, because it's how you are showing up in the relationship that, and what you allow in and what you allow to enter you, that's going to create that availability for what you're looking for. That delivery of the message from the universe that says, message or delivery to you, here is the one. Can you receive it? Are you available to hold this, right? My mouth is getting dry from all the talking. Okay. So if you would love to work with me further, there are some beautiful, amazing ways that you can start working with me and really start bringing back the vitality of this sexual energy, the vitality and the rejuvenation of you, and what happens when you are more embodied in your feminine energy, and really just how life responds to you when you are in your feminine magic. And it truly, really feels like that. So the first thing that I have happening, which is going to be in April 9th, Saturday, April 9th, is the Feminine Magic Mastermind. So this is going to be a training and a coaching, which means that I'm going to be delivering transmissions, but equally you will be having coaching. So this is where you get to have hands-on, you get to have me hands-on in your relationship as you are actively doing the practices, making the changes in your life from what you're receiving in the transmissions, and get live coaching from that for 6 weeks. So feminine magic is all about releasing the force energy and gently starting to soften those outer edges and to begin to create the connection with your body and the innocence of your sexuality, right? So this is a program that's going to open you up to the trust in the masculine, to the trust in other masculine energies as well, God, men in general, and money, right? So these are all very much interconnected, and this is what we are going to dive deeper in, because God, men, and money are areas where we can really be very activated in our survival mode. And this is what we want to start softening so that we can start cracking open and being more embodied into that feminine magic. So we're going to drop out of that wounded masculine shield the survival mode, and tap into being receptive to allowing the juices to flow literally and figuratively in your life of the feminine. So we begin April 9th. We have 3 Zoom calls. This is 6 weeks, Monday through Friday, Telegram support. So this is where all the coaching and the magic really happens from in between the Zoom calls. So this is $6.99. And or you can get payments of $3.99 for 2. I am going to create a 3-month payment plan as well. So if you're interested in that one, just let me know. So the other way that if you really are like, oh my God, Jessica, everything you talked about, all the things that you have experienced with your partner, I want to experience that with my husband. I want to experience that with the man that I'm with. I want to have that with a man, with the one. Let's say that you are single, for instance. Because my work is also for women who are single, who are really looking for that sacred union partner. And you know that part of that has to do with healing different parts of, like, you know that you need to lead first, and that leading first is you taking care of you as a woman. So I have the perfect bundle for you, the most delicious bundle. It's called the Delicious Goddess Bundle, which includes feminine magic, includes the Liberated Women in Relationships, my signature program, and includes the Sensual Goddess, which is also a mastermind type. So the Liberated Women in Relationships, that one's my signature program. We're going to be diving into healing masculine wounds. We're going to restore the original blueprint of the masculine, and we're going to journey into 5 archetypes, both dark and light, feminine energies that bring a powerful energy in your feminine when it comes to sexual polarity and really being in your feminine pole so you can have a king in your life. So this program will give you a full descent into your feminine and how that looks like in your relationships. And we're going to help you release any hyper independence, any control, and allow you to fall deeper in love with him, allowing yourself to crack open to his love and be obliterated by that. And I cannot tell you how good that feels as a woman to feel that type of support from your partner, that love, because it's not just about love. It's about everything that his masculine energy brings to you and how it allows you to soften and to be in your pleasure and to be in joy, which is what we want as women, you know? So the other program we have is the Sensual Goddess. And then this one, we're really going to be working with the Enchantress archetype. We're going to go deeper into that seductive pleasure. I am here to seduce life, like your inner vixen, like your naughty girl. We're going to bring her out to play, and we really are going to be going deeper into the sexual anatomy of the feminine. So we're going to be healing a lot of these sexual blocks that are having you feel disconnected from your body in a very deeper somatic, stuck energies in your womb and in your yoni. We're going to go into that so that you can start releasing those energetic blocks and feeling more turned on and feeling so juicy in your body that he can't keep his hands off of you. And honestly, you just can't keep your hands off of yourself. So all of that is going to be $2,175. Yet, if you do the bundle, if you buy all of these together, I'm going to give it to you for $50 off. So that's, if you pay in full, that's $1,088, or you can do 444 payment plans for 3 months. This is a super good deal. Like, I highly recommend jumping into this. You can also just start with feminine magic and see how things go there. I guarantee you're gonna want to upgrade into this delicious bundle, because you are going to start feeling so alive and so like good in your body and in your connection with yourself and just you as a woman, and what makes you a woman and what makes you so different from men, which is so beautiful. We don't have to be like men and hustle and grind the way they do. They are meant for that more pushing forward energy. You are meant for more of that drawing energy, not just for your man to be drawn to you, but money, but support, but all the things just coming at you because you are a magnet. And this is what we're going to be doing inside of these programs and masterminds. So I am super excited. So yay. If you go ahead and share this to someone that you think that could benefit, if you share it on your timeline, if you share it anywhere, make sure you tag me and you let me know, because you can receive 20% off any of my programs. So it can be including my master classes that I already have available, if this is something that, that you also want as well. So yes. Thank you so much for being here. 𝗵𝗡𝗧, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Persephone, for joining me. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. 𝗵𝗡𝗧, I'll see you in the program and actually for the whole year. So, all right. Mwah. Have a beautiful and sexy day.